What's good, YouTube? It's Auston Holleman back again with another interview. I have Zoe the Barber right here. How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good. I'm doing excellent. It's nice to meet you.
Same here, same here.
Go ahead and give me a background about you. Where are you from? How old are you?
From New York City, born in Brooklyn, raised in Harlem. My traveling age is 41.
Yeah. You got traveling age.
We'll leave it at that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. How long you been traveling?
Well, I initially started traveling when I used to dance for a rapper by the name of Special Ed. That's when I first started traveling. We didn't do international at that time. It was like 89, 90. Rappers weren't really international at that time, even though he was a big star at that time. But it opened me up to traveling around the States and getting on and off airplanes. And then in 1990 or 91, I got my passport and I had a show. I was a dancer initially. So through dancing, I started to travel. And me and my friends got a show in Japan, and that was the first international country that I've been to in 1990, I believe it was.
Well, how long were you a barber?
I started cutting hair at home when I was like 15, 16 years old. I got a chance to work under a master barber in Harlem by the name of Gene Walker. So I've been cutting for over 30 years or so.
So what is your favorite country? Well, where all have you traveled to so far?
Too many to mention.
I know it's a lot
Too
of
many to mention.
Because I see your videos.
I'll mention some of the highlights. I really like Barcelona, Spain. I really like South Africa. I really like Paris, France, Thailand, Philippines. Egypt was my most phenomenal trip out of them all. And I've been all around the Caribbean, and there's too many to mention. If I try and name them all, I'll still forget. But it's been somewhere between 25 to 30 countries.
And what would you say is the safest country you've been to?
A lot of countries seem safe, honestly. Amsterdam seems safe. Czech Republic seems very safe. I guess some countries you only go into the tourist attractions. You only might be going to resorts and hotels and stuff like that. So it might appear safe.
Somewhere like Jamaica?
Yeah, when you go to those type of places when you're in a resort. But we know outside of that it's not. And then Thailand, it's always felt safe to me. Philippines is, I've never felt in danger in any country, but then there's some countries that I've never been warned about safety. So the countries that I've been warned about safety, I make sure I'm safe. But I've never had a problem in any country.
I wish I could say the same. But when I was in Brazil, I got stuck up by the police, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
We did get pulled over by the police once, and they had those big.
Yep.
But they didn't do anything to us. We didn't have anything. They checked one of my guys' bags, and they let us go.
Yeah, I thought it was over with for me. Yeah, they pulled us out the car.
How many people? They pulled us out the car as well. But what did they do? They asked you to pay your way out of it? Did
No.
y'all have anything that was a problem?
No. Nah, he just looked in the car and was like, pull over.
It was a taxi.
We were in an Uber.
Yeah, Uber. Same thing happened to us.
Yeah, and he said pull over, and he put the gun on the window, was screaming, get out, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, y'all got the wrong guy.
Was it tinted windows?
Uh-uh.
Hey, man. Yeah. Thank you. It happens. It happens. Thank God it didn't happen to me. But you made it out safe.
Yeah.
And it's good that you share that story because, people think things can happen, but they can't.
Yeah,
I see how big their guns are. They definitely came out the car with those guns. And if someone had that gun and being aggressive, I would have definitely been scared for my life.
Oh, yeah, with the screaming, and he was waving it around. I was like, he's actually about to shoot me, and I don't even know why. That's why I thought maybe we fit a description or something.
They do shoot first.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. They got videos of that on YouTube, too.
Especially in the favelas.
And I was just about to say, they go into the favelas shooting. They don't go in there to arrest anybody.
I heard also.
Yeah, it's crazy. How often are you in the United States?
I'm in the United States a lot, but only for a few days.
Good.
No, I'm mostly, every month, I go to 1 or 2 countries. Depending if I'm staying in the country for the whole month or I'm going to visit 2 countries within a month. I try and go home at the end of the month for a day or 2 and make sure my business and everything is good, and then I head back out.
So you have one barbershop?
No, I have 6 barbershops.
6? Wow.
Yeah, I once had up to 11 barbershops.
Wow. They are the same name?
Levels.
Single, you have kids?
I'm newly divorced. I have 2 children. They're on the adult side.
So it's not really affecting your family too much that you're going as often?
Right. My kids are in their early 20s.
So what advice would you give somebody that wants to live a lifestyle like you where you could be gone pretty much all year? Or what's something people should have in order before they want to do that?
Whatever type of business you do or entrepreneur, you need to be able to put it on auto mode, kind of like you need to. Some people are digital nomads. Some people are military, retired military. You know, there's a lot of ways to get to this, but through me, it was through building my business. I couldn't tell somebody what they should do to get to that point, but obviously you would have to be able to work remotely or be making money in your business while if you're there not sleep or awake.
So you have someone that manages all your barbershops.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to build that from the first to the 11th?
I opened up my first barbershop in 1996. 2 years later, I opened another. Took a couple years hiatus, then I opened up some more. I just seek the opportunities and took a chance. Every time you open up a business, you're afraid. You're not sure if it's going to work. Some of them did work, some of them didn't work. Most of them did work. The pandemic, no doubt, had a big impact on my business, and I struggled. I still am struggling, but I built it up over the years. I built it up. I had some good times and bad times, basically.
So on a social aspect, what would you say is the biggest benefit to, let's say, dating overseas or just being overseas in general socially?
I don't know if it's necessarily a benefit. It's, to me, relationships are relationships. You can have good ones and bad ones. If you want a really strong relationship, if you want something special, you gotta, I would say, be with your best friend. And when I say that, I mean be with your best friend as a counterpart, meaning a female. When you're with your best friend, you forgive them for everything, you accept them as they are, you have unconditional love. Doesn't matter where they're from. I think part of the problem in America with the dating and the social construct of relationship is that people pick the wrong person. If you want a woman that cooks and cleans, then you should have interviewed that. You should have write that down and you should have dressed that before you give her a child, before you get married. Or should I say get married and give her a child, because that's the way it should happen. You know what I mean? People want to, if you can't be sitting here bashing black women and all that stuff and you got 2 and 3 baby mamas. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely not.
So it's you know, I don't see, okay, if you're looking for some of the traditional traits, the problem in America is that, I would say, one of the problems is women want men, they want traditional men, but women don't want to be traditional because men want traditional women to a certain aspect too. And I think it's just gotten imbalanced with that. I'm not one of the believers who say that everything's better overseas. You know what I'm saying? They got good women and bad women overseas too. Of course, they are different because their culture is different. You can't expect a woman overseas to be like a woman in America or Western society. The way they grew up is totally different. And some of these foreign countries are 5 or 10 years behind America when it comes to that type of thing. Where women in America had to fight for femininity and you know that whole thing and the feminist movement because they felt that they were unjust things. You got countries where men still got their feet on women's necks and they're just coming out of that, but their tradition is to cook and clean and do this, and the man's is to take care. Like in Colombia, the man pays for everything, takes care of everything, and the woman cooks and cleans and takes care of the children.
Correct.
We don't really have that standard in America because in America now we force that both parties usually have to work to survive in America. So you can, if you are in a position where you could take care of everything and have your woman not work, then okay, it should be expected for her to cook and clean and rear the kids, but that's an arrangement that you have to make in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so would you say, so based off that, you're saying that the chances if somebody wants a traditional woman would be better outside the United States?
If they're willing to be a traditional man, yeah.
Correct.
But I think there are definitely still women in America that you can get that from. You just have to know that's what you're looking for and be clear to whoever you talk to. And I'm sure there's women who be like, I'm cool with being a mother, a housewife, and being traditional. I'm sure there's plenty of women left in America that way. But I think the tide got changed because there was a whole generation of fatherless families, which gave women some, they felt like they had to then be protectors and then take on masculine traits and all this other stuff. So people talk about the problem, but they don't talk about what caused the problem. There's a reason for the condition we're in, and it's not all the black woman's fault.
What do you think about entitlement in the United States? What do you think is the cause of all that? How women feel entitled. It's like when Kevin Samuels showed how he exposed how they all wanted 200 grand.
Yeah. I mean, but the great thing what Kevin Samuels do, and RIP Kevin Samuels, the great thing he did was he broke it down to them to make it, show them that it was unrealistic. You know what I mean? And they could have been sold that bill of goods through TV and society and stuff like that. And they all clinched on to that. You know what I mean? But you know, there's reality and then there's, you know, fantasy. And women are always big on fantasy. If you know, they sold on those novels and things like that. They're big on fantasy. That's part of their thing to feel. We're more about rationality. You know what I mean? Women are more about feelings. So because they have those feelings, they feel that they should get that thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's in some part it's in their nature. I mean, Prince Charming, you know, this story has been sold to them from the beginning.
So a lot of people say that social media, you know, destroyed a lot of things in the United States. Would you agree with that?
I think the social media is only highlighting what's already going on, really. You know what I mean? I mean, there's an opportunity for everybody to express what's on their mind through social media, which is opinion-based most of the time. It's not fact-based. It's opinion-based in a big way. You know, it's where we are. Ain't no turning back with social media. You know what I'm saying? We're there. It's here. It's part of our culture.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's part of the world now, you know? So, did that ruin things? I don't know. I mean, things have to be that way for you to, you know, put an eye on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I would say it didn't because they have social media here, you know, and the women are completely different. The culture is completely different. I think it's just a culture thing and a combination of that with the laws. You know, laws allow people to be that way.
Only shows what's going on. If that's not what's going on there, their social media can't be that way. But being that they're a portion of their population that is influenced by popular culture, it's changing people all over the world. Because they're exposed to the most popular culture, which is hip-hop culture.
Correct.
And you know, it's going to affect everybody across the board. It's not going to affect them right away, but I see it everywhere I go.
Yeah. It's in small pockets. It's smaller here, I would say, as opposed to Brazil and Colombia.
Yeah, it's a little further away.
Here.
It's a little further away, and they're a little behind. You know what I mean?
So would you say that most countries would look like the United States as far as that hip-hop culture and the social media influence that we have on the rest of them? Do you think it'll pretty much take over? Because I heard in DR it has, right?
I don't know if they still have their culture and tradition, but they are exposed to something else. And then when you hear the music, it's vibration and energy. You see the imagery. There's all these things that's going on that's going to affect people. You know what I mean? Even if you don't hear it, you can see the imagery. And there's a decent portion of them that understand what they're saying. So if you are into the culture, it's going to affect you. Or at least it's going to affect those that are into the culture.
So I want to touch on that too about the DR. I seen that your last video you put up about it might be over for Brazil, Colombia, and the DR. Could you explain that again for people that may have not seen it watching this?
Well, I think some people took offense, and I'm ready to have a follow-up to that video. But basically what I was saying is that I think that there are, and I'm not talking about the country, so people are like, oh, going crazy. I meant the tourist areas. I meant the known tourist areas that the Black Americans travel to.
Okay.
We spend a lot of dollars in those areas.
Okay.
Unlike most people, go to those 3 countries at least 3 times a year. You know what I mean? So I've watched the change in the matter of 1 year, between 4 to 5 months different, and saying, wow, things have changed, and they have changed across the board from housing or renting Airbnbs and hotels to restaurants and food and to entertainment, meaning nightlife, and that would include the women. You know what I mean? What you now, clubs that you go on for free, now they want you to pay. The price of drinks, the price that women want. You know, Airbnbs being, like I just came from Brazil, and literally places that are in my favorite Airbnbs to stay in are 3 times as much.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I'm like, wow, it's really, I see a change. So, and when I say it being over, I don't mean it literally. You got to realize this. When you're doing social media, you have to frame it in a way to make people listen.
Yeah, make them want to click.
Right, so not that it was clickbait, but it's going to raise your eye and say, okay, well, what is he talking about? So that's why I framed it in that way, and I said it that way, which definitely the response is really good. People had a lot to say. Some people agreed, some people disagreed. Some people brought some good points to the table in regards to it. And that's all I wanted to do is create a conversation and don't underestimate the power that we have. Because I watch us there. I see us spending a lot of money. And some people think, oh, it's not going to have no effect. I think it will. And when I said boycott, I didn't mean literally boycott. I mean just try some other places.
Yeah.
And bring that down. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to go and I've shown by example. Like, I went to Cuba. I show people videos on Cuba. I show people videos on South Africa. I go other places besides that. I go to those places because I have friends there. I know my way around there. I have fun there. So yeah, I go there as a pit stop to hang out and have some fun. But I always add other countries every year to my repertoire, along with going back to those. But I seen some things that have turned me away and like, well, maybe I'm not going to go there for a while. And I think if other people who have the same sentiment as me should try some other places too. That's what I really meant about that.
Oh, okay, because I had the understanding that you meant like the whole country, but now I hear you say those tourist cities like Rio.
I should have specified, the areas, but that's all with, if I put the post up and said Copacabana, Sosua, and Cartagena, it's not the same as saying a country. It's not the same as putting a flag in the image. You understand? So yeah, it was a broad scope, but I think everybody knew what I meant. They knew I meant the tourist areas. And everybody said, oh, you could go to different parts of I've been to at least 5 cities or more in every one of those countries I've been to. You're not telling me nothing new. Those cities where everybody go is where the culture is where the nightlife is where most of the tourist attractions is. Yes, you can go to these other places, but most of those other places, you go there once and you don't feel the need to go again. You know what I mean? So you could go to Recife and you could go to Florianopolis and but a lot of those places, you don't need to go back.
It's a reason why they're not the hottest tourist spot.
Right, exactly. That's all I'm saying. I'm not dancing around it. I'm just simplifying it maybe too much because I think people will understand where I'm going, but it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
My opinion, basically.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, there's over time more and more people are gonna find out about Rio, especially with the internet, as opposed to 20 years ago. Rio's been a hot tourist spot for decades, but
in the world, period,
but
not just for Black Americans.
Yeah. So things will go up. So that's a good breakdown. I believe that's what you meant when I was watching. I thought you meant the whole country.
No, definitely didn't mean the whole country.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't mean the whole country. But, you do things. And I wouldn't even say maybe I would do it differently later. Because there's always a chance to have a continual conversation and explain it. You know what I mean? I did it in a broad way so people could first look at it. You know what I'm saying? And then we can follow up and break it down if we want to break it down further. I just wanted to see if people were interested in the conversation, and it seems like they are.
Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah, a lot of people in my Facebook group are sharing their video.
I know I'm not in any Facebook groups, but I know people in Facebook groups, and it was on fire, and positive and negative, but it's all.
How many views did that video get?
It's like at 30-something thousand views within this short time. It's pretty good, you know. And more than the views is the comments. It's almost like 1,000 comments.
Oh, yeah.
So the comments means more to me than the views. Yeah. Because on average you don't see that many comments. Even on a video with only 30,000 views, you wouldn't see 1,000 comments. That's not a normal ratio, at least not for me.
Yeah, because I've seen a video with 2 million views have 200 comments.
That's what I'm saying.
So they go show you the substance behind the video, how it actually affected people.
People were writing paragraphs when they were commenting. It
really?
wasn't like 1 or 2 lines. There's so many people writing long paragraphs that I just couldn't read it all. You know what I mean? I try to respond and like and to a lot of the comments, but it's just too many. There's too many.
So basically, you were just saying spread out.
Yeah, and I think don't underestimate the power that we have. You know what I'm saying? One guy said, and I know he was joking, he said, we couldn't even boycott Sal's Pizza, and that's a play from Do the Right Thing. But what he don't realize is that we burned Sal's Pizzas down. You understand? So don't underestimate our power. You know what I mean? And if you want to put the blame on YouTubers, the same YouTubers that influence all these black men to go can be the same YouTubers that influence black men to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So if you want to give us the blame for bringing people there, then understand that we should have the power to make people go other places as well.
Yeah, same thing. That's what I'm about to do. That's why I came here, because I wasn't going to be able to leave Brazil when I went. I love Brazil, but I'm going back in a few days, and I'll be in Rio for a week, and then I'm going to Salvador, because that's not really tapped into like Rio. Rio is...
Yeah.
Rio
but
is...
Salvador is nice, but I've been to Salvador. I would go back to Salvador, yeah, but Salvador is no Rio. You know what I mean? It's not even close.
What would you say the difference is?
It's not as much things to do. It's smaller beaches. And I haven't been all over Salvador, but that's like saying you've been all over every state in the United States. Like, nobody's going to see all of that. If you come to America from another country, are you going to go to Boise, Idaho? Or are you going to go to New York, LA, Atlanta, Miami? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing across the world. There's certain places that you need to go and need to see, and certain places you don't need to see. Unless you want to go and live a quiet... People say, go here. What are you going there for unless you got a girlfriend there, unless you want to live a quiet farm life or a quiet rural area? There's no reason to go to a lot of these places. It's cool to go and see, but there's no reason to go back.
Yeah, because I was going to do a month in Salvador, but...
No, you could, but, you know, unless you really want to travel around Salvador and check it out, some people go there as content creators because they have their own little niche. I'm that dude in Salvador. You know what I mean? But why you think most of the guys are in Rio?
Yeah,
they go to Salvador. I would even, you know, Sao Paulo probably got more to do there than Salvador Bahia, but yeah, it's dope, the culture, the history of black people there. You know, I visited all that. I went and filmed and I did all that, you know, but there's a reason to go to Brazil. I mean, Rio, it's a big city. It's a big city. So
you would put Sao Paulo as number 2 for Brazil?
Maybe. It all depends. If you like the city life, yeah, Sao Paulo. And I don't know a lot about Sao Paulo, but there's a lot to do there. There's a lot to explore there. A lot of nightlife, and they got the African Museum there, and it's a big. Sao Paulo has 20 million people within its city.
Yeah, I saw that.
When you fly in there, they got heliports on top of the buildings, and it's different.
Wow,
it's different.
Yeah, I gotta check that out for sure.
Yeah, I've been to Fortaleza. I've been to small cities. You know. Small beach town cities, you know. I mean, I haven't been all over, but even ask Dennis John Pierre. He's been all over, and I'm pretty sure there's more than not some of the places he's been, he'd be like, I ain't got to go back there. You know what I'm saying?
Like Belo Horizonte.
He named a few I can't remember, but there were places that he went, he was like, there's no need for me to go back there.
So what is your purpose of traveling besides the typical I'm just going to see? Do you have a real goal? Like, my goal of traveling is to, you know, experience a different culture with women. Would you share that same?
No. I travel first because, one, it's in my spirit to travel. I like to see and experience other things.
Correct.
Notice when I travel, every one of my videos, even though if you don't recognize that, I go to as many tourist attractions in every country I go to.
I noticed.
I don't just go to the country, but my channel is, and if you listen, is tourist attractions, nightlife, which would include the women, you know what I'm saying? And I might visit a barbershop or cut somebody's hair, shit like that. So I'm only doing what my channel was set up to do. You know what I'm saying? Show you the country, and with that I might show me getting there, showing where I'm staying, showing what tourist attractions to do, showing what's to do there nightlife, and showing you some pretty women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you only want to click on the pretty women, then that's all you're gonna learn from the channel.
That's usually what it is.
Yeah,
too.
but I have balance. I feel like I serve a balanced meal. But if all you want is the fried chicken, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but most men they just focused on the women, because I did the Sanctuary of Truth. That video got 2,500 views.
Trust me, I know.
I did
one,
it too. Yeah, I did one about passport bros are done with game, and it had a picture of me talking to a chick. That did like 18,000 views in the first 12 hours.
Yeah, I know. We know if it's a female on the thumbnail, it's going to do well, and she's attractive. We know that. But I try to balance my joint. I got the helicopter ride. I talk about the big three being over. I'm interviewing John Thompson. My shit is spread out if you really pay attention. If all you want to click on is the chicks, so be it. You know what I'm saying? So be it. But if I just wanted the clicks, then I wouldn't do none of that other stuff. I could still go to the tourist attraction for myself and never film and never edit it and upload it. I could do that too. But for the few people that do appreciate that, I'm still gonna put it up because I appreciate it. I have one video with 30,000, one video with 4,000 or 2,000 or 1,500. You know, I know what I can do to keep the numbers high, but I'm just being true to myself.
Do you ever see yourself permanently moving outside of the United States?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. But I would feel like one country wouldn't be enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, it would be my desire to maybe get a property in 3 countries and split it up within a year. That would be my desire, not I'm all in with Brazil, or I'm all in with Thailand, or I'm all in with South Africa. I wouldn't be all in with none of them. I like change, I like variety, so. And then even with that other 4 months could be traveling somewhere else, you know what I'm saying, without the year. That would be my ideal type of thing. If I could set that up, I think that would be best for me. Not to say, oh, I'm going to Colombia and live in Colombia, because I get tired of Colombia too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, once you experience the other places, you'll get tired of one. Like, I won't be in Brazil the entire year, but that's gonna be my home base. But when spring rolls around, U.S. spring rolls around, I'll be gone.
Some people love one country, and I applaud them. Some people love just one country. Most of their trips are back to the same country. You know what I mean? And I understand that. That's why I visit some countries. Why you go to the same country? Because I like it, motherfucker. Don't keep asking me.
They ask that.
I go back because I like it. I have friends there. You know, I have male and female friends there. I'm learning my way around there. You know what I'm saying? I'm building relationships. It's places that I've went to look into property, and I almost bought something in Brazil, but things just didn't work out.
For somebody that's watching this that's never traveled, what would you say they should go first?
It depends what you want. You know what I'm saying? If you want attractions, you should go somewhere that got the best attractions, being 8th wonders, 7 wonders of the world, you know? Some people who like stuff like that, you might want to go to Machu Picchu in Peru. So it depends. If you're going to have a cool time with your homeboys, or you're going to rest, then you need to go a beach country. If you want to go get that sun and ladies, then there's certain countries you go to for that. You know what I mean? So that's a broad question, depending, you know, because that could be for women too. Well, you're going to tell a woman first place she should go is Sasua DR? No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
She might want to go to Jamaica.
Yeah, that's where they want to go.
She might want to go to Cuba. You know what I'm saying? Different things, you know? So I would say it depends.
Well, for the men that are looking for women, like,
right,
they're attracted to the thumbnails.
Right. Then go to the big 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That'd be, just be specific, Sosúa, Dominican Republic, Puerto Plata, Cartagena, Colombia, or Medellin, Colombia, or Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, or Sao Paulo. But that's a further trip. So anything that's like 6 hours or less, I mean, Panama used to be what Colombia and DR is, Costa Rica used to be. what those places are. You know what I mean, too. So, but they got more. This is what happened with Costa Rica and Panama. They started using the U.S. dollar. Things started costing the same as the U.S. dollar, and it's more like for older guys now. Like if you go to Costa Rica, it's gonna be a lot of older retired guys there. It ain't when I go to Costa Rica, I'll be the youngest dude in places sometimes, you know?
Wow.
It's just changed, and it's kind of similar in Panama. So I'm saying that to say what Costa Rica used to be the thing, and that used to be the thing with Sosua and Cartagena if prices keep going up.
I mean, I see they use the U.S. dollar. That's why I haven't went.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that attractive anymore now that I got to pay U.S. prices.
Right. For the most part, black travelers are still a bunch of travelers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going, you know what I mean, to
Dubai?
Yeah, we're not going to these expensive cities in different countries. You know, we're going, you know, like, I want to go to Australia. Australia's expensive. You know, I looked at, and I want to go to Sydney, Melbourne, and the Gold Coast. And I'm looking at the prices, and it'll be a serious investment.
Yeah, just
you know
like
what I mean?
the U.S., yeah.
You know, so we ain't flocking to Australia. We're not, although, and it's far, but there are other countries that are expensive like that, or parts in countries that are very expensive. I mean, we want to get a bang for our buck, because for the most part, we ain't rich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So do you feel like Pookie and Ray Ray have destroyed the Caribbean?
Everybody want to call somebody a name.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, Beta, Pookie, and Ray Ray. They're all in your family.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
If you ain't a Pookie and Ray Ray, your cousin is, your aunt is, your nephew is, so quit with all the names.
Mm-hmm.
The concern should more be like to promote, let's understand that people are looking at us all over the world, and let's try to just move with a little more integrity. That's all. You know what I mean? There are always going to be those people in every race of people that you feel is not a Pookie and Ray Go. It's just another word for ghetto. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't stop that. You can't. People come out of the conditions of ghettos, and it sticks on some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are you going to do about it? Because they're ghetto, should they not be able to travel? I mean, me traveling with my family, I've always traveled, but you see hillbilly white people on the plane with cut-off shorts getting in the pool and resorts and stuff with cut-off denim shorts. They Pookie and Ray Rays too. Mm-hmm. But I'd be damned if they don't travel all around the world. Mm-hmm. So Pookie and Ray Ray deserve to travel all around the world too, but maybe you could pull Pookie and Ray Ray coat a little bit if you see them acting up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would agree.
And I think more, I meet my subscribers all the time. Mm-hmm. 10 to 20 people every country I go to, right? I'm impressed by the things that when I talk to somebody, ask them where they're from and what are they doing, I'm impressed by most of the people that watch my channel that I actually meet. There may be more Pookie and Ray Rays who watch the channel, but not travelers.
Yeah.
But when I bump into travelers who watch my channel, I mean, it's dudes with hedge funds and dudes with real estate properties. Like, I meet a lot of dudes, I be like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't meet a whole bunch of Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't feel like that's my audience. And I don't feel like I influence Pookie and Ray Rays. As, you know what I mean? So maybe I could be wrong, but I ain't running into a bunch of Pookie and Ray Rays who say, yo, I appreciate what you're doing. I watch your channel.
Well, and they wouldn't come this far, you know, because when you...
Oh, they would.
You think so?
Oh, I seen some brothers with tank tops and do-rags with Caesars.
I seen that last night.
Well then, listen, the internet and social media is a big thing. You understand? And people want to say this to YouTubers like, listen, you sound ridiculous. Y'all want us to hide what's going on so y'all can enjoy it more?
Yeah,
that's
no.
like, here's freshwater springs, but because now you might have to wait to get your water, you don't want nobody else to have fresh water. Like, it's that mindset is like ridiculous. Because y'all showing everybody, and now everybody's going and blowing up the spot. Like, that's people need to have the access to information. That's what you want to keep people ignorant.
That's what the
You know
internet
what
is
I'm
for.
saying? Not the internet, that's what life is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna deprive somebody from information for your own self-gain? You know what I mean? You wanna deprive, we shouldn't show people where to go and where to have fun and what their options are because they might ruin it for you. Who the hell are you? You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
The world is big. We can't all be at the same place at the same time.
Nah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You've been going there for years. Oh, now it's ruined? Well, you should have been on your way to somewhere else anyway.
Yeah, and that would take a long time anyway because no matter how many videos you put out, max 10% of your audience is going to actually implement that and go travel. The majority of people is going to sit around and just hope and wish that they can go.
Yeah, but enough to see a change. I definitely have seen a change. And the big three alone. I've definitely seen a change. Now, I ain't bumping into nobody. I might have bumped into one American when I was in Cuba. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
So there are other places. I ain't bumping into no Americans when I was 1 or 2 when I was in South Africa, Tanzania, 1 or 2. You know what I mean? You gotta just do other things.
Yeah, the
Paris
world's big.
and places like that, people from all over the world are there. I mean, there's so many places to go and visit. But that's if you really want to travel. You know, if you only want the red light districts, then that limits where you could go. And even that's all over the world.
Yeah.
Maybe not in abundance like it is in some of these places, but that's all over the world. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's all I have so far.
That's good.
I appreciate it. You have any final words you want to say?
I enjoy meeting people, brothers like yourself, that are traveling, that are doing positive things, and you know, let's just try and respect ourselves and respect other people. You know what I mean? None of us are perfect. I do some goofy stuff sometimes, but you know what? I'm mostly a positive person, but it's boring just being positive all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's difficult. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta, you know, be negative, be an asshole, be goofy a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's what it is.
Got to keep drama to keep the entertainment up.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
a little balance in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little balance.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for coming through. I'll see y'all in the next video.